Oh man, so FANTOM is trying to build back up again after initially losing the $2.08 mark. It's now building back. It's at $2.10. We're going to cover off what I'm seeing in the charts here in the immediate future. I'm also going to touch upon the whole Frog Nation controversy, which a lot of you guys have been asking me to make a video on because that is leading to some negative contagion and worry in the DeFi community, which could be affecting a lot of our favorite projects. So stay tuned. We're in for a good one today. As always, guys, if you don't have yourself a VPN set up and you're trading crypto, you're making a huge mistake. That could be really dangerous, guys. The cyber threats are happening all the time here in crypto. So make sure you've got yourself a VPN. Check the link in the description. I personally use NordVPN. They've been kind enough to offer my subscribers, you guys, 1 month for free and 70% off a 2-year plan. So check the link in the description, guys. You won't be disappointed. They're very good, very easy to use. A nice mobile app, easy on the desktop. You're good to go. It's pennies compared to the amount you could potentially lose, God forbid, in playing around without security on crypto. Now, what are we seeing here in the charts? Let's get straight into this, because here on FANTOM, you remember we created this W pattern. We created the first bounce at 179, and our neckline was at 237, bounced again at 194, perfect. These are our long-term support lines. Anybody who's watching the channel, you've known we've had these horizontal support and resistance line drawn for a while, and they've been obeying them perfectly. So we got this W pattern. We thought we could break to the upside, but obviously the Fed meeting prevented it. We went sideways until the statement came out, and then we ran. You could see we ran. Bitcoin ran to 39 at the time, and FANTOM was out of the blocks, 258. It was going towards $3 on our target. But then we got sent back down as Jerome Powell started to speak and started to talk about the whole economy overinflating, overheating with inflation, and that the labor market was strong and he's ready to raise interest rates, right? So he came out very hawkish. That sent Bitcoin and therefore a lot of our altcoins down. Since then, we've managed to have a decent recovery here. We initially lost the 208 level, but you can see here we've been in the interim here. We're trying to fight for that 208 level back again. Now, the important thing we have to remember is we're still on a downtrend, right? If I head over to the 4-hourly, you can see we're still in a long-term downtrend. That's normal, just as Bitcoin has retraced. But remember, we covered off in the previous videos the retracement down which we've had now. We're currently 36-ish% from highs is nothing compared to Bitcoin. And FANTOM is actually one of those amazing projects which has not only held up the most in terms of retracement, but is also raring to go. You can see that as soon as Bitcoin is ready to go, FANTOM is ready to go out of the blocks as well. So definitely want to keep an eye out here on FANTOM. If I bring out the EMA ribbon here on the 4-hourly, you can see here we're still bearish. We're trying to build our way back up to the top of the EMA ribbon. That would be around 217. So we're currently at 210 right now. Can we get to 217 and start testing our EMA ribbon to see how much of a resistance is it providing in that region? On the daily, of course, you can see here we still continue to remain bearish as well. We still got a little bit of work on the daily. You're looking at breaking through 237 and closing above about 246-ish in order for us to get back bullish on our daily. So we got some work to do. We have to admit we're bearish, but when you look at that compared to the equivalent chart on Bitcoin, you can see just how different this is. Look how extended we are from our EMA ribbon on Bitcoin. Bitcoin has a lot more work to do to flip back bullish than FANTOM does in this instance. Okay, so still a strong project. We can look at the amount of total value lock. Things are still looking good. No problems there. But one thing which has come up, a bit of controversy, which a lot of you in the Discord have been tagging me in and saying, guys, can I make an update on this? And that is what is going on with Danielle Sester. Yes, one of the co-founders of DeFi, right? One of the really thought-leading personnel in DeFi space. A lot of people look up to him. He's had many amazing projects: Abracadabra, Wonderland, Popsicle. He's known as Frog Nation, right? It's known as Frog Nation with all these projects under one umbrella. And there's been a bunch of controversy because what happened was that it turned out that the Wonderland CFO, also known as Sifu, but people are saying his real name is Michael Patron, okay? It turned out that he was the CFO, so he's head of treasury at Wonderland. He was the CFO at one of the failed exchanges, Quadringa CX, okay? This was an exchange in Canada back in 2019, which ran away with $169 million of user money. They did a rug pull, okay? Now, this is a shady past, and he apparently has some identity fraud past, and he's an ex-felon, and yet he was head of the treasury at Wonderland, right? Now, if this wasn't bad enough, what is worse is that this has now tarnished Danielle's name, because Zach XBT posted on Twitter that Danielle knew a month ago that Sifu was the ex-CFO of Quadringa. So this now becomes neglect, right? This becomes negligence. This becomes negligence for you to know that you have an ex-felon, somebody with a shady past in a similar space, who's linked, even if it's remotely linked to a $169 million fraud. How is that going to give your users in a decentralized platform confidence when you knew that and you left him there for a month? Now, I fully believe in giving people second chances. That's not the conversation here. The conversation is you knew and you still left that person in that capacity without letting the community know for a month. That is negligence at that point. So naturally, there's been a lot of uproar. A lot of people have been dumping a lot of these tokens that are involved in the Frog Nation, right? Things like Time, things like Spell, things like Magic Internet Money. These things are having an impact. And this is also having a contagion effect, right? Using MIM has an impact on things such as UST, because a lot of people are using it to constantly yield their farms and reinvest. That's having an effect on UST. We know UST has an effect on Anchor, which also has an effect on the Luna ecosystem, and that is why we're seeing a little bit of contagion going on right now. You can see Luna is as low as 50 right now. Now, we know Luna was dealing pretty well, but just look at this over the last few days here on Luna. We wicked as far down as 47 here on Luna, which shows that definitely this is having a little bit of a contagion effect. The market are a little bit spooked around this, but we should be able to head onwards and upwards here. So if I just pull up the post from Daniel Sester, who came out with a post and said, look, I made a mistake, got blinded, I'm sorry for that. Wonderland itself has achieved some amazing things and he wants to carry on, and he's leaving it to a vote, right? Does everybody want their money back, or should we continue building this investment DAO? So let's see how that plays out. If you want to read up more on this, guys, there's plenty of literature. I mean, I could spend a good 30 minutes going into this, but if you want to do that, tag me in the Discord. I'm happy to send you some reading on this. There's some good Twitter threads and good articles which you can read. You can look at all the tweets that are out there and follow this story as it developed, right? And things are still going on right now, so we need to keep an eye on this. It could have some impact. Obviously, we know Daniel Sester and Andre Cronje are also involved together in Solid Swap, which is going to launch on the Phantom ecosystem. So for this particular, I mean, maybe that's one of the reasons Phantom's getting a little bit of a calling off as well, although we're now green on the day, but initially we did fall as low as, let's see, where did we fall? We did fall as low as there, 198 today. Could that have played a part? Because we know Andre Cronje and Daniel Sester are launching Solid Swap, which a lot of the total value locked over the last few weeks in the Phantom ecosystem has been a result as a result of the token drop that they promised on the top 20 DeFi locked projects. So yeah, that's there you go. Just another day in crypto, more drama, but ultimately, do any of the fundamentals on our project change? And by the way, if you're invested in things like Time and Spell and these kind of degen projects, which by the way, we don't talk about on this channel, but I know a lot of you guys will be picking up some of these. You've got to be very careful, guys. There's a reason I don't talk about these tokens. They're too shady, too little known on those, and that is why you can't, post videos about some of these projects when they're so little known. I mean, things like, Magic Internet Money is just this pure degen play, right? You've got to only put in what you're willing to lose. To be able to constantly borrow off your borrowed money and keep recycling that, you're asking for trouble at that point. Money isn't made out of thin air, and for you to believe there is, then there's always someone's bearing the risk, and most oftentimes, if you don't know who it is, it's you. So yeah, definitely, guys, just be careful with some of these small projects. Only invest what you're willing to lose, particularly in things like Time and Spell, which are ultra low market cap, small DeFi projects. You've got to be very careful. Even in slightly, more bigger market cap projects like Anchor, you still got to be careful in this space, right? DeFi is still new, still fully decentralized, and that's what ultimately upsets the market right now. Is we're trying to create this movement of decentralized finance and really trying to create an ecosystem of trust, right? Trust in the ecosystem. And then you've got people like Daniel Sester who knowingly, whether he knowingly knew or didn't know when he hired the person is one thing. He should have done his due diligence. But secondly, the fact that he knew for a month and didn't disclose that and go to a vote to the community or put out a blog post or communicate with his team just is really quite damning on the whole DeFi space, really, particularly when this is a real flag bearer of the DeFi space. A lot of people look up to him and Andre Cronje, and that's why Andre Cronje has tweeted and kind of distanced himself. Well, he didn't distance himself. He said he wants to continue working with Danny. He refers to him as Danny. But you know, the fact that it was negligence. He even admitted to that himself, and that's his power, right? So yeah, definitely not a great day here for DeFi space as a whole. These are the kind of stories we don't want to hear, particularly when people are putting their hard-earned money into these protocols and trying to create a revolution with decentralized finance for these types of founders of these major projects. You know, major project founders are not doing their due diligence. Doesn't fare well for some of the less notable platforms, you know, where we don't know the founders, like where we don't know it's Andre Cronje or Daniel Seste. If those guys can do it, the market's almost thinking, what else is going on, right? Who else that hasn't doxed their information is an ex-felon controlling the money on the protocols I'm invested in? So people are really going to get a bit spooked now, and I wouldn't be surprised to see if there is a bit of a contagion effect playing out. Overall, charts looking good here on Phantom. As I said, holding up pretty well here on Phantom. As always, I will warn you of the risk to the downside. Always be prepared for some risk to the downside if Bitcoin continues to fall, because Bitcoin is, if you haven't watched my video earlier, creating a bear flag, right? We got this massive move to the downside. We're getting a little bit of retracement up. Could this just be a bull flag and we head down? We need to see Bitcoin really push above this high here at 38,405 and start heading through to 40,000. Otherwise, we could just be sent back down again towards 32, in which case for Phantom, we then have to be looking at price points around our next levels of support, which, like I said, coming at 194, you saw that come in there. Further down, 179, we saw that bounce nicely there, okay? If Bitcoin loses 32, then we need to look at 165 and other items here, or other lines of support here for Phantom, okay? Definitely a good project, definitely still solid. Fundamentals looking good. Technicals are looking fine. Like I said, on Phantom, things will just depend on Bitcoin, and that is why I'm posting a video every single day on Bitcoin, because right now the market just cares what Bitcoin is doing. You can see projects like Phantom are perfectly geared up to just absolutely go on a run. They just need permission from Bitcoin. They just need Bitcoin to start recovering back to its highs, and trust me, these altcoins which are geared up will move at a percentage, a multiple of the rate that Bitcoin is, because they're the solid projects that people are waiting to put their money in. There's a lot of cash on the sidelines right now waiting for crypto to create its price floor, start proving that it's rotating back to the upside, and then that money's going to come in quickly, even with leverage, which is not fantastic as well. There you go, guys. There's your blend between technicals and fundamentals here on Phantom. As always, if you appreciate this video, don't forget to smash up the like button and subscribe. If you haven't sorted yourself out with a VPN, make sure you click the link below to head over to NordVPN, who, like I said, are going to give you 70% off a 2-year plan. Guys, it's cheap as chips to set up a VPN. Just get yourself a VPN. You will thank yourself that you've got yourself a VPN set up. You can't risk trading in crypto, playing around in DeFi, and all the kind of things we're doing without having yourself a secure VPN. So make sure you head over there. Coupon code is OHMAN, OHMAN, and I'll see you in the next one.